Aerial superiority is the single most important reason the United States gained such a decisive and rapid advantage over Iran in this conflict. When one side controls the skies completely, everything else on the battlefield becomes significantly easier for them and significantly harder for their opponent. Troops on the ground can move more freely. Ships can position closer to enemy territory. Strike missions can be planned and executed with far greater confidence. For the side that has lost the skies, the opposite becomes true. Every movement carries risk. Every asset becomes a potential target from above. Iran found itself in exactly that position from the very opening hours of Operation Epic Fury, which began on February 28, 2026. U.S. and Israeli forces moved immediately to dismantle Iran's air defense network, striking radar installations, command centers, and missile launch platforms in rapid succession. With its air defenses crippled early, Iran lost the ability to reliably track, intercept, or respond to incoming aircraft and missiles from that point forward. This gave U.S. and allied aircraft the freedom to fly over Iranian territory, identify targets, and carry out strikes with a level of safety that would not otherwise be possible. The scale of what followed was significant. U.S. and Israeli forces have struck more than 15,000 targets across Iran since the conflict began. One of the clearest examples of what aerial superiority enables was the bombing raid on Karg Island, carried out by U.S. forces on March 13, 2026. Karg Island handles approximately 90% of Iran's crude oil exports and is one of the most strategically important locations in the entire country. U.S. forces targeted more than 90 military sites on the island, striking naval mine storage facilities, missile storage bunkers, and other military infrastructure. The oil export infrastructure was deliberately spared, but the military assets were systematically removed, reducing Iran's ability to use the island as an offensive platform. The destruction of Iran's missile launch capability has been equally significant. According to data from the Institute for the Study of War, Iran began the conflict with between 410 and 440 rocket launchers. In the opening weeks alone, U.S. and Israeli strikes destroyed an estimated 260 to 290 of those launchers, eliminating more than 60% of Iran's total launch capacity. The practical effect of that was visible almost immediately. On February 28th, the first day of operations, Iran launched over 180 ballistic missiles at surrounding countries. By March 8th, just 10 days later, that number had fallen to approximately 9 missiles in total. The degradation of capability was measurable and rapid. This pattern continued across Iran's naval forces as well. Admiral Brad Cooper, head of U.S. Central Command, confirmed the destruction of over 100 Iranian naval vessels during the campaign. Each of these losses represents not just a reduction in hardware, but a reduction in Iran's ability to threaten shipping, project power, or conduct offensive operations at sea. The aircraft responsible for delivering the majority of these strikes belong to 3 specific bomber platforms that form the core of the U.S. strategic bombing capability. The B-52 Stratofortress is the oldest of the 3, having entered service in the 1950s. Its age has not reduced its effectiveness in this type of conflict. The B-52 can carry a maximum payload of 70,000 pounds, making it the heaviest loaded bomber in the U.S. fleet. It can deliver conventional bombs, precision-guided munitions, and cruise missiles. Its particular value in this operation is its ability to function as a standoff platform, meaning it can launch weapons from a distance without entering the most heavily defended airspace directly. The B-1B Lancer brings a different set of qualities. It is the fastest of the 3 bombers, capable of exceeding 900 miles per hour, which is above the speed of sound. This speed allows it to enter a target area, deliver its weapons, and exit before defensive systems can mount a coordinated response to its presence. The B-1B was originally designed for nuclear missions, but was converted to a conventional warfare role and has been used extensively in multiple conflicts over the past 3 decades. The B-2 Spirit operates on a completely different principle. Its primary advantage is stealth, meaning it is designed to be extremely difficult for radar systems to detect. This near invisibility to radar allowed the B-2 to penetrate Iran's most heavily defended airspace in the early hours of the campaign, striking air defense nodes before they could respond. The B-2 is capable of delivering both conventional and nuclear weapons with a high degree of precision, making it the preferred platform for the most sensitive and time-critical targets. Together, these three bombers provide the U.S. with the ability to strike any target type in any defended environment, using whichever combination of payload, speed, and stealth the mission requires. A fourth platform is currently in development and has shown signs of accelerating toward operational readiness. The B-21 Raider is the next-generation U.S. bomber, expected to officially enter service in 2027. In mid-March 2026, a B-21 was photographed conducting aerial refueling for the first time, indicating that testing and operational preparations are progressing ahead of schedule. The B-21 is designed to be even harder to detect than the B-2, with more advanced stealth systems and the ability to strike targets across the globe with minimal support infrastructure. While it is unlikely to see action in the current Iran conflict given the expected timeline, its development provides context for the long-term direction of U.S. air power planning. Supporting the bombers and fighters is a network of aerial refueling tankers, primarily the Boeing KC-135 Stratotanker, which allow U.S. aircraft to remain airborne and operational for extended periods. These tankers are positioned in protected areas of airspace, guarded by fighter escorts, and allow the U.S. to maintain continuous pressure on Iranian targets without the natural pause that fuel limitations would otherwise create. The loss of one KC-135 on March 12, 2026, was a reminder that even in a conflict where one side holds overwhelming advantages, operational risk is never entirely eliminated. According to reports, two tankers collided in friendly airspace over western Iraq. One made an emergency landing successfully. The other crashed, killing all 6 crew members aboard. This was a significant human loss and a reminder that accidents and unforeseen events are part of any large-scale military operation, regardless of how well prepared the forces involved may be. Alongside the bombers and tankers, F-35 fighter jets have played an important supporting role in the air campaign. Their primary function has been to clear pathways through Iranian air defenses. By using their stealth capability and high speed to penetrate defended airspace and destroy radar systems and launch platforms, the F-35S created the conditions the bombers needed to operate safely. The aerial intelligence dimension of this campaign has also contributed substantially to its effectiveness. The U.S. deployed E-2D Hawkeye airborne early warning aircraft to the region. At least 5 of these aircraft have been confirmed operating in the Middle East. Each one carries radar systems capable of detecting drones, cruise missiles, and aircraft from hundreds of miles away. This persistent surveillance capability means the U.S. has continuous awareness of Iranian air activity, which allows it to intercept threats early and respond to developing situations before they escalate. For Iran, operating under this level of surveillance has made it extremely difficult to move assets, reposition forces, or prepare counterattacks without those preparations being detected and potentially preempted. The effect on Iran's leadership has been substantial. Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei was killed on the first day of the operation, removing the central authority figure of the Iranian government. His son Mojtaba Khamenei was subsequently identified as the new Supreme Leader. He reportedly survived an airstrike that killed his wife, son, and several other Iranian officials around him. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth stated publicly that the new Supreme Leader was wounded and likely disfigured, and noted that his first public communication was a written statement with no audio or video. This absence of visual or audio communication was interpreted by U.S. officials as an indication that Khamenei was either unable or unwilling to appear publicly in his current physical condition. The disruption to Iranian leadership has compounded the military losses. A government struggling to manage a succession crisis simultaneously with a military campaign faces significantly reduced capacity for organized response. Iranian officials have continued to make statements asserting resolve and promising retaliation, but the observable facts of the conflict have increasingly diverged from those statements in terms of actual capability. Missile volume is reported to have dropped by approximately 90% from peak levels. One-way attack drone deployments reportedly fell by approximately 95% in the period covered by available reporting. These numbers reflect a military that has absorbed enormous damage to its infrastructure, supply chain, and operational capacity across all branches over a relatively short period of time. The situation in the Strait of Hormuz remains one area where Iran has attempted to maintain pressure through asymmetric means, including mining operations and fast attack boat deployments. Even that effort has been significantly degraded by the destruction of more than 100 Iranian naval vessels and dedicated operations against mine-laying craft in the strait area. The broader pattern that emerges from this conflict is that aerial superiority, once established comprehensively, compounds over time rather than diminishing as a military advantage. Each successful strike makes the next one easier. Each destroyed launcher, radar installation, or command center reduces the threat to the aircraft carrying out subsequent missions. This compounding dynamic is why air superiority is considered the foundational requirement in modern military strategy, rather than simply one advantage among many equal ones. The U.S. entered this conflict with capabilities that Iran had no realistic means of matching, and the execution of the opening phase ensured those advantages were locked in rapidly. What remains uncertain is the timeline and conditions under which the conflict moves toward resolution, and what the political landscape of Iran looks like when active military operations conclude.